Hello, family and friends. Come by and let's chat and talk a while. Well, I thank the Lord this morning for another night and another day. And I hope each and every one of you had a blessed day and night. Uh, this morning we got some rain. This evening, well, just a while ago, then we got some more rain, thunder, and lightning. And this morning, before it got so hot outside, the garden, the stuff had bloomed. It was just so pretty. And then after the sun come up, the the uh, the blossoms, it was closing back up. I guess that was due like to all the heat, 'cause it's really sunny where the garden is, and it's just so hot down there. And I was thinking when it was raining a while ago, when we was growing up, we would play in the rain. No matter how hard it rained, we would get out. We'd play in the rain. And then there was this little creek that run by the house. And if you could find like a holler that, where you had running water, we all would get in there. And we would run up and down them creeks. We'd be just as muddy as we could be. I mean, we even have it in our hair and everything, clothes. And Mommy would holler and say, I'll tell you what, keep playing, you all. And when you get the cracked toe, you have to know what it's like. And she'd always say, muddy water would give you the cracked toe. But we played in it many of a time. And so far, it never did us. But we had a job getting cleaned back up before we could lay down, that night. Because then, you packed your own water and you heated it before, you took your bath. And even in the summertime, we had this like wooden, like stove. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about or not. It's a wooden stove. You can use wood or coal, and you can cook on it. Cook, bake on it. You had to heat all of that, and it took us probably about 2 or 3 hours for us all to get cleaned up and clean our mess up. But that was the good old days. I mean, we was just soaking wet. And now you don't see kids doing anything like that. But we did. I mean, we had the most fun, and we played like games, like around the rosy, just all different kinds of stuff, that we would do. And then the youngest daughter, she'd always make mud pies on the rock, and they would get washed off in the rain because it'd be raining hard. And she'd get so mad, she'd cry. She's only about probably 5 or 6. And they kept washing off, so well, she did it a few times. Then finally, I guess she realized it wasn't, like no need. And here at night, it's crickets all the time that you hear when you're outside. And then when I was growing up, there was crickets, there was frogs, and you would hear them croak all night. And then a lot of people, they would catch the frogs because some families, that they like frog meat, but I never did care for any because I've seen one family fry 'em before, and if you eat frog meat, their legs or something like jumped out. I don't know, but it's to each its own, But they just wasn't for me. A lot of people said they was better than chicken. They could have been, but I don't know. things was just so much different back then than they are now. I mean, you could take anything and have fun with it then. But now you gotta have just pretty much a lot of stuff to even try to have fun. And then some, I don't think you could have enough for them to have fun. And then sometimes I wonder if they realize what fun really is. But I don't know. And we have these swings, and we make them out of tars and get on them and we'd swing. Sometimes a rope would break and we'd roll over a hill, get on these grapevines, and we would swing on them, and then when we thought we was like in the middle of the creek, we'd jump off. Sometimes we'd be in the middle, sometimes we'd be on the side, but we never really got hurt. We got like some scratches, but not no seriously hurt or anything. And then it'd be a whole bunch of us, it'd be our family and cousins and just friends around, and we just had a good old time. And it didn't take nothing really to entertain us. And they had them big old round cement drain pipes. I don't know if you remember those or not. And then we'd get like in them, and we'd run up and down in them. And then really, when it rained like hard, the water would go through them really good, and you could get through there and run back and forth through them, and that water would splash to the top of that. And everybody thought that was something funny. That was another bath we took with them too. And they would holler, say somebody took their turn. So they would get 2 turns, and some people would get 1 turn. But that's just it. But all of us had fun the best, that we knew how. And then when the rain would, like die down, and then we'd go wash your hands real good and face good. And then right across that creek, we had a big cinnamon tree. And then there was a birch tree. And there was, well, I'm not for sure if it was another kind of tree that had berries on it. Do you remember what I told you the name of it was? A mulberry tree. And then we'd all sit down, we'd get us some water, we'd wash them, and we'd eat them. And then, and you could scrape birch, and you could chew the birch. And then, and some of them would, and then, you could even smoke birch, it's not a tobacco product or anything, but you could smoke birch. And then they had a rabbit backer that grew that wasn't backer. It's just stuff that you could, like smoke. It's been years since I've seen a rabbit backer. And I'm sure there's a lot of beech trees around. And then probably if you would go on different fields, you could find, like the mulberry trees and stuff like that too. Or maybe you could order them now, not for sure. But I'll tell you what, and them cinnamons, when they got real sweet, they was delicious. But you grab one and eat it, and it's sour. Oh, it almost like your jaws. But we did things like that all the time. And had lots of fun. And then we get out. Edge of dark, we catch lightning bugs. And ever who got them, we all have something other to put them in. And ever who caught the most lightning bugs, they was the winner. And we'd have some kind of low prize, I don't know, might be a couple dollar prize. And and everybody was supposed to catch the most because they could get that price. Sometimes it'd be like a bag of candy or just a pack of gum, just any little old thing, like that. Well,
What, Mike? Tell them with your brothers and sisters, there's 5 of you guys total. Which one was the mischievous ones? I know you said your the 2 babies were something. What were they like?
um, really, I guess I have like peaceful brothers and sisters. I guess you would say, well, the oldest one, well, she's been gone now a year, and she was the one. Uh, she watched after me a lot. And then I had one sister. She liked do like the outside, like cold wood, something like that. Then that way she knew her job was done. And then me and the baby sister and my brother, we would cook meals, and I'd put them in a chair, and they'd have to help me with the dishes. And then Charles and Pam, they'd get mad, they'd cry. They didn't want to do nothing like that. They wasn't old enough, they said. And then Brother Charles, he loved to rock. And if you made him like mad about something, he would get on the couch and he'd rock himself to sleep. He rocked all the time. That's how he went to sleep, by rocking himself. And for it being really bad, no, I didn't have any really bad brothers and sisters. And my brother, he played ball elementary, and then he was going to in high school, but we lived like about 28 to 30 miles from town, and he had no way back and forth because you had to have your own transportation. And Mommy, she didn't drive, and we didn't have no vehicle, and there was nobody there of age to even have a license if you had a vehicle. But then there was some families. I had a lot of cousins. They had like 11, 12 kids, a happy family, no problems there.
What about your Grandpa Billy?
Grandpa Billy, if he had lived at his next birth, I think he would have been like 101. He was a great person, and he called me babe all the time. And he was sick there many years before he passed. He was like bedridden, and he was a real religious guy. He believed in the Lord Almighty, and you never left his house without eating. You had to eat. If you come to visit, you might as well to say you had a meal too before you left. And that way he'd always say, well, I know this person will go to bed hungry. And you would have to eat before you could leave. He was just so nice and humble, and he loved everybody. And then his son and daughter-in-law, they stayed with him because he got disabled, and they stayed with him. And they was kind of getting up a little bit in years at that time, not a whole lot. And then he wanted everybody to make sure they ate. Okay, and then they would have church services every once a year. They'd have a big gathering in the office. A lot of people would come in, and they would have like dinner on the ground, they called it. And I'm telling you, they would have the best homemade banana pudding ever was. And I always broke my neck to run to get some banana pudding because there was so many people there. I went mostly after the sweets, Cause I'm telling you, it was just so good. And then finally, when I got older, I finally learned how to make it. It's a whole lot better than the box banana pudding that you buy in the stores. And it's really good. And it's good to get up at mornings. Well, to me it was. Get up in the morning, make you a cup of coffee and a bowl of banana pudding, and that would be my breakfast. And it was good. I mean, and we just had anything there at the service that a person would eat, and everybody would bring like different foods, and they'd have all kinds of garden stuff, just big kettles and bowls, and by the time everybody ate, nobody left hungry.
What's the difference, would you say, from being in the country life, living in the holler, than living out here now where we live?
Well, just everything's just changed. I mean, people back then, uh, like in a country life, you had what you had. You appreciated what you had. You took care of what you had. And you done the best that you could do with what you had. But it seemed like as the years went by, people, I don't know if you should say this or not, but it just seemed like as all the years went by, a lot of people was like in competition. If this person had a certain house, a certain this, a certain that, and if it wasn't good as the next person, would want something a little bit better, or a different vehicle. They would want something better. But like that, growing up in the country then wasn't like that. But maybe now, all the years it's been by and changed, so a lot of them could have also changed too.
What made you stay so humble when you even raised me and Brad, and then even with the grandbabies? Now, what made you stay so humble, and you kept us all humble? Like, what made you keep all them beliefs that you had?
I mean, to me, there's nothing no good that comes out of, being mean and cruel. You teach them the best that you know how, and hoping that, that they'll follow through with it. So maybe one day, they can have a better life. And nothing comes out of bad. Nothing. There's no good and bad. And really, you can be whatever, but being rude or stuff like that don't get you nowhere. And I was always the type of person. I never did want center of attention. I have been places and in workplaces that, I have seen people, they would jump over top of you to be that center of attention or to get their voice in. But to me, I didn't mind sitting back and listening to the people, because it really didn't bother me. Because you had to do what was best for you anyway, and what was good for you. That doesn't mean that that's going to be good for another person.
With your two kids, me and Brad, who are we most alike, you or Daddy, and why?
I guess, I don't know. In a way, the way you both have got some of me, but and then you both have got a lot of your dad, because well, the son, he never met a stranger. I mean, he never met a stranger. And you was almost like him, you know, some talk. But me, I was always one stood back and listened. You know, it didn't. But
And I think we both have Daddy's temper.
yeah, and you both have his temper. Had his temper, yeah. And I always would tell my husband and son, you two are two of a kind. I told them that all the time. Two of a kind. Things would happen, and then I'd say, now, listen, say whatever you want to say. I said, well, then don't quarrel by yourself. It takes two to quarrel. You know, one can't do it alone. One can't do it alone.
But I think I got your caringness.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Now, with the grandboys, who do you think they took after and why?
Well, really, Sawyer, he kind of like me, quiet like me, kind of in a way. But now he's got his papa's really temper when he wants to use it. And then Elijah, he's more talkative than Sawyer. And that's the difference in them two. And but they're just so many years apart, 13 years apart. My daughter's son and my son's son was 13 years apart. And both of them turned out to be boys.
Remember, you knew what Sawyer was going to be before I even had him, remember? And what he looked like?
Yeah, I would have these dreams. When my daughter was pregnant, I tell her all the time, I'd say, Lisa, I said, I'd have a dream. And I would tell her exactly. I mean, just what it looked like. Everything. But
And where did we pick his name out from?
from Sawyer Brown. That's where the Sawyer come from. We thought of a lot of whole different names, but I guess we just ended up,
He's a Sawyer.
yeah,
And he looks like Daddy.
yeah. It looks a lot like Cliff that he does.
Well, who would you say me or Brad looks like?
Well, so you look like us both. And, well, Brad looked a little bit more like me, but he looked something like his dad because he had the bluish green eyes. And both of them had a mouth. And,
Both love Kentucky basketball.
yeah, both of them loved Kentucky. They was a big Kentucky fan. Yep. And Brad, he was a Bengal fan. And there was another one or two teams that he really liked. And Brad loved his music. And the louder he could play it, the better he liked it. He loved his music. And he'd get out on them little, well, really it was Elijah's a low motorcycle. He'd go up and down the street, trying to do wheelies. Elijah on the back of him. I'm telling you, sometimes you never know that, I guess the Lord was with them. I mean, a couple of them, a lot escaped from getting hurt.
He would take Sawyer riding on the motorcycle, music up blaring,
Yeah,
them flying.
yeah, he always, he always did. And then he was out to his aunt's in Grandma's place, and they had four-wheelers in. They was riding four-wheelers, and his cousin Josh was riding with Brad, and he was going so fast. Josh fell off, and Josh was hollering to Brad that I think that you broke my back. And Brad tells him, said, Josh, suck it up and get back on here and let's go. And he gets back on the four-wheeler and takes off, but he was all right. That's just the way them boys was. They just cut up, and Brad cut up with his uncles, his aunts, just cut up with them, and he loved them to death, you know.
What made you, in the end, with Daddy with cancer all them years, for like almost 8 years, do what you did? Because, you know, sometimes people would, nowadays, they would put, you know, their loved ones in a nursing home or something like that. What made you be able to do what you did?
Well, I mean, the way I look at it, you treat others the way that you would like to be treated. Because even though you're sick or whatever, if you can do what you can do for a person, you should. Because just imagine if you would be in their place. You know, you need help. And when you got cancer, it affects our whole family. He had some really, really bad years there. I mean, terrible years.
But we kept our word, though, and we kept him with us.
Yeah. Well, family and friends, it was good to come and chat and talk with you a while. So I'll talk with you again tomorrow evening. And hi, Eliana, I love you. And I'll talk with each and every one of you tomorrow. And may God bless each and every one. Good night.